Good morning. This is the crypto day morning. Today's date comes in that of Tuesday, 22nd of January 2019. All bets trades of the like, well, that is within each his own risk and reward. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, interesting chart for today's session. Of course, resistance established, has not broken it. Support established. Today's session looking to go below it, but it hasn't held and stayed down below it. In here, it was riding the 18 as support. Now it's doing so as resistance. Does it look like it's going to be breaking down? Well, maybe at first glance. But I do find today's action relatively interesting when looking upon such. And it's this line in here. It's just an interesting small little line breaking down barely below this level of support. Now back to where it came from. Let's put the lines in of Fibonacci that I have had on the screen, and then shorten out the time frames, 4-hour term. And amongst such, we can see a move that comes down to below this level, and it's just been great resistance and support so far, so I find that part interesting. But let's carry on to the single-hour term time frame. And when these markets, as I've been stating, go up and down, big moves, and go sideways, that's what they do. So after this down move, it went sideways. It had this little failed breakdown here, didn't do anything. But this move in here, what's up with this candle? Let's take a look at this on a 15-minute time frame, and there it is here. So it just happened instantly, like really fast. And since then, on the 15, we can see how well it's been grinding within this 18. And even here, you have this little bit of selling that buying. For me, that's usually selling when it goes up, which is why I think buy down here, sell up top. But anyway, how it's been riding, have this move higher. It's come back down, holding. So it looks as if things are pretty active within the chart. Let's go on to the 5-minute term. And this is where it got really interesting here. Just a large, massive red candle down. And then immediately followed with this green one. And within this time frame, holding and doing this within this move very well, considering it's gotten above this previous area where it came from before. And let's look at this on the single minute. And first off, this is 7:45 a.m. Eastern with that rally, but the selling was simply this in here. And I have a theory whether this is the case or not. I don't care to even guess or speculate to such, but my theory is when something like this happens, if there happens to be big buyers who have their buy orders filled, then that's when they go aggressively and they buy the market up there after that. I would think more so towards all the altcoins like the AID and the ones that I'm going to be showing on lower volatility to be more likely to happen. But just something that I think of. However, you sell it off very fast. We got 3 minutes going down and then the few minutes going up. That really tells you the story on that 5-minute with the big red down and green up, that it took a few minutes on each side for it to go. And I would even like to see just this little span here on like a 10-second time frame. I can't on here, but that's just something that would interest me as a chart viewer. So therefore, as today's session is looking, I wouldn't be surprised if a wild move happens. And given this early look, I see very often that the move has a preceding failed move beforehand, and the first move, of course, being lower. We'll see if it goes up or not, but within this on the daily chart, any move that goes higher is really only able to bring it to really 2 levels of resistance. One is really a pierce above 18 highs or around 37, which is this level of resistance, and then the next one around 41. So it's just only to get way from the bottom end of this range, because if we're falling from here, it's going to be a decent sized leg lower probably. Let's take a look at altcoins next. And I've been talking about AID a lot recently, still showing a nice decent setup. 18 average starting to rise, doing a setup or attempt and reverting the trend. I sold last pretty much near this high. With this high coming in near 1,000, I think. Yeah, exactly at 1,000. I was 900 high change, and I haven't bought back yet. I'm looking to buy back at around 650. If it doesn't go down there, then I'll be selling as it makes new highs. Because if it doesn't go to 650, this thing is going to break out and go big. And I got my sell order decently above this level of resistance in here. So we're looking at around into the 1400 area, thus looking for a 40%ish kind of move. Moving on next to monetary unit, which I've been talking about recently as well, and had this move up to 600 high change, now down to 400 high change, or down 200 basis points, a third of its value. And I've gotten my buyback in, as it's now back within this 18 after selling this last move to the upside before. And what that means within the chart that I've been showing here, within comparing how I play, just holding it versus the trades that I make, separating from the orange line, as there's been a few trades since this last big move. Because if the market goes straight up, you're not going to do quite as well. And I've entered into one position where exactly so has happened so far. Market has gone straight up. That is Loopring. Crazy markets. And we can see here that this was at 1100-ish, hair above 1,000, and now it's a hair below 3,000. So that's a hair below a 3x gain. Green candle up 3, 4, 5, 6, day number 7 today. And really, 2 days before that were green as well, but within the 18. The volume, I think it should speak quote unquote volumes, pun intended. And it's doing well. As far as where we stand on the weekly time frame, there's not much data. I mean, this is all we got. So therefore, what can we see on this as far as where we can go? Well, it was way up here at like 9,000. And that was 10,000, 12,000. That's what I noticed upon it. As far as its movements were concerned, it wasn't showing anything too spectacular, but it's going to be interesting where we move from this point. I entered in on this on January the 7th is when I entered into it, which would have been this day here. Don't remember why. Glad I did right now. And I've sold obviously about 2/3 of my position almost, because it's always, my trades is always worth the X amount of Bitcoin. Looking at its spreadsheet, or how I've done versus just holding. And this being the MUI one, and the AID that I've talked about before, that's how this one with the blue line doing well above the orange. With Loopring, it's just starting off, but Loopring is almost up triple, which is about 200%, as this is rising up towards this. And because of the trades that I've been making, multiple sells now, I've only barely doubled its portfolio. So I've already gotten back more than what I have put into it back in Bitcoin. And I still own 1/3 of what I originally had. But in time, this market's going to pull back, and this orange line will go below the blue line. At least it'd be, no, it has to. It's got no choice. And until we see a lack of buyers, it's going to keep going up. And when these markets have big moves up, they have to have decent sized moves down. So therefore, right off the bat, 1870 is this next level of key area where it came from. And conservatively, if you want to buy down towards here, I think the 2,000 number is in play, especially if you're selling your, for me, okay, I'm selling 29 and change. That's like a value loss of a 30% to get to there. And it's a and 2,000 to me is a conservative buy for the area of here. It can even go deeper than that. I mean, this area where it came from down in here, that's very aggressive to buy down there, saying it's going to come back to where it came from in this area here. But piercing down below the 2000, you got 1850, 1700 and change could very easily be areas where it could go to, and even match this previous support at 1360. But this thing can keep going straight up to 4900, 5000, who knows. And if it does that, then I would increase the area for where I think it would come back to. And until that's the case, short term, 1 hour time frame, I like putting lines in these things. When this level of resistance was taken out, this thing just left, because this is what we had seen before. And when you have this resistance hit, you pull back, you stay within the 18, and it never got above it until here. And you'd be saying, oh, this thing is breaking above the 18. What's the next level of resistance? Well, it's previous high. And that's exactly where it hit. And then it comes back down. Where's the next level of support? Well, the 18 and 18 lows, and that's where it hit. And then, okay, increased chance of breaking this level. It didn't do it here. But when you see this setup prior to it, you see how it was working towards it. The odds of it breaking out hour by hour in here on January 21st morning, yesterday morning, was higher and higher. And, well, it didn't do it, but it was close. And then all of a sudden in here, it comes, finds a resistance, pulls back, supports this level of support line. So the first level of support was first this 18 lows, which would have been around 19.2 handle, which it didn't find support here. Okay, below that previous low, which it did. And then the move just occurred right in here, as we can see. Just a fantastically large move breaking past this level of resistance. Looking at this on the most shortest term time frame, which is, well, let's do 5 first, then the single minute. And I really don't even need to see the single minute because of what I'm seeing in here. As far as how we look at this, it shot through this level of resistance like it was not even there. Or it was just losing in some sort of, like a video game. You're in a challenge, you fight like a final boss kind of deal against like Super Mario or Ninja Gaiden or whichever game you want to reference, and next thing you know, you got your ass kicked like 3 times, and then you're like, hey, why don't I just try this? I think that's going to work marvelously. And it does. And you just destroy the boss. And just that, what happens is you got the big move. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great green candles, a sideways red, and then 2 fantastic ones, which established resistance again, just like before. Back to the 18, and then you're breaking higher. Well, that next level of resistance test is that, and it hits that as resistance, comes back. 18 low, not the support. Where did it come from before? Was previous level of resistance, was exactly where it supported. Then it gets above again, so now key level of resistance again. And, well, you can put a line in at this stage and saying here, because it's obvious that it's had multiple tests amongst this. It's holding in pretty good, but just like we've seen before, breaking a level of resistance like this, you could probably have a very, very fantastic move. So how volatile this would be is not much, but having a nice clear break above this would not surprise me to have a fantastic gain moving forward. And we'll finish off this within Tron. Nice level of resistance. This, I've been talking about this, not too much, but yesterday I most certainly did. This more shorter term level here, it has taken out. I see a lot of times this key area of around 720 has been a resistance point. Above that level right now, 4-hour term. What I like in this level, I could probably should go just down a bit like that. But regardless of the fact, this is just a key hit area. And after this green candle, what do we notice? Well, how many small sideways? I have like 3 very tiny looking green candle moves, not so much volatility. And then it had a satisfactory green higher, satisfactory red thereafter, a pause, and it looks like it's trying to move everything higher now. Meanwhile, it's really supporting a few periods within this level of resistance, because it started this sideways correction with a grinding move higher, and that to me is bullish in itself. And well, where do I think the next level of resistance is going to go in or break above this previous high, which comes in at about 852. And then from there, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you. My answer is I don't know. That's a good answer. Thank you for tuning in. Well, actually, no, that's not a good answer. It's either going to stop going up and either go sideways or down, or it's going to keep going up. And if it does, it's probably going to have a decent leg higher there after that. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.